agreement. Section 15 suggests default almost intentional. And so I'm concerned with the tone of this. I think we need to get together with our political counterparts and say, who really is in charge here? And after my discussion with Garth, we can talk about it later, but I'm quite troubled by the whole thing.
Your motion was?
My motion is that staff convene a meeting between this council, the 2 local MPs, the 2 local MPPs, and Mr. Radoshia and Mr. Wilson, so we get on the table once and for all. Do we or do we not have agreement that you are going to respect? Do you know who set the date for this, September 14th? Their legal counsel. I said, really? The Joint Secretariat's legal counsel determined September 14th. He said, yes. I said, why is that? I don't know. Talk to Dino. It's okay. I'll talk to Dino.
Seconded by Councillor Russell. Councillor Cook?
Well, I was trying to sound like the devil's advocate. When you've taken a project that was 3 or 4 years in process and thrown it out the window, basically, and started over from scratch, they may have come conciliatory to the first meeting just to keep you on board. But now that we've taken another 3 or 4 months and haven't come up with anything yet, I think they're just looking for a time frame to get us to move forward. What's the word? Crafting it up the pot, since we're talking about F1 anyway. So I think it's up to us to make a decision on where we're going with this. To have our MP and MPPs and everybody else come to the table would be a nice dinner, I guess, if we want to pick up the tab for it. That's about all I can get out of it, Doug. There's nothing here that says that we've acted in good faith. They're just calling us, they're calling us spade, basically, in the letter. We're the ones that messed up. They had an agreement in place. It's been in place since 2009. We waited until January 31st of this year to throw it out the window. They've started over again with the process. We haven't given any direction where we're going with it. So, hey.
I'm going to take a point of personal privilege. Can I respond to that? I do not like the tone of the, we messed up. We have never messed up. We have lived up to that agreement. No, I'm on a point of personal privilege here. We lived up to that agreement until December 31st. We took the 31-day or 30-day reconsideration period within that agreement. Lambton Shores is not at fault here. Lambton Shores didn't back away from this agreement. Our 2 partners did. What I take exception to is if the Joint Secretariat would like to know our intentions, which we've told about, we have a working group, we have a date we're working towards, then why don't they send in a letter requesting an update? Not an intimidation letter threatening with Section 15. I'm sorry, sir, your perception and mine are very, very different. We have acted in good faith. We did bring them to the table and told them exactly what our intent was, and we continue to act in good faith, and we need their support, not bureaucratic intimidation.
Are we not going to meet that deadline? The working group's coming back with
It's arbitrary.
August 31st, so it's here, so
no.
And we can't, just to speak to your going to the minister, I think we need to go with our partners in this. If we don't, they've got the same letter.
That's what he said.
Talk to them.
Councillor Scott?
I think that other people have brought to the table before that it would have been a good idea to have had the partners sit here and be supporting us and bring that forward. And I believe that that was Councillor Russell that stated that most equivalently one day. So I think that there is nothing wrong with bringing them to the table to discuss this. I think this council hasn't had the opportunity to do that, and I don't see where the harm would be to have somebody come in, so I will support that motion.
Councillor Owen?
They're telling us, get on with it, get this process going, and they're not saying we're not going to pay this, but they're not going to pay it until they receive more information from us and the fact that we are moving ahead. So,
Deputy Mayor Dag?
Yes, I'm going to support the motion too, because I think this letter has a real sense of a tone of distrust in it. And I think that it's inappropriate in light of the fact that we have established a working group. We are definitely making progress. We've discussed it multiple times in recent meetings, and we have an August 31st deadline. So why would they do anything but say, these people are making progress? Let's give them space to do that. So I think it just needs to, you have to, instead of waiting until September and trying to work out any kind of misunderstandings, I think it's really wise for us to predict and prepare, be proactive, and say, let's make sure that these communication lines are open and that we all understand the same thing. We really more cost-effective, and they need to know that. We're serious. I think face-to-face meetings would be the best thing.
Councillor Russ.
Well, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I did 4 months ago. The reality of the situation is this. We have an MP and an MP and an MP and a PP and PPs and whatever, and they're our partners. Bureaucrats are not our partners. They're like our staff. That's right. Exactly. So, I support it for one simple reason. I want Bev sitting here so we can talk about it. Personally, I've been a bureaucrat for too long, and I get sick of these type of letters, and I get whatever. We get mealy-mouthed presentations from people. We get told by certain people who tell us how wrong we do our business when they're bureaucrats. They never got elected by nobody, by anybody at all. Nobody. That's bad. Sorry. But the reality of the situation is yes, we did change something, but we haven't changed any scope yet. But Dino sat right at that table and told us and directly answered the questions of Councillor Ullman, me, and I think you. When we asked him about the scope, we were concerned. Section 15 or 17, we were concerned about it. He said, these are the ways to do it. We set a working group up so we would stay within the parameters of it. To get letters like this, and yes, maybe they're saying whatever, that's all well and good. But by golly, let's sit down with the people who are our partners. And these bureaucrats are not our partners. We need Bev sitting here. We need those people. And say, damn it, we had an ugly election. Things happened in this municipality. We're trying to make them right. There's no wrong here and no right about it. We're going forward about it. They know about those political realities themselves. Gary what's his name? Goodyear. What's his name? Goodyear. He's been talking for a long time about all his development funds under the Canada Action Plan, et cetera, and he's basically trying to withdraw stuff. We heard that from Dino to begin with. But if our MPs and MPPs can't fight the good battle for us, and considering they're both in the caucus federally, right? They may not be provincially, but they are federally. If they can't fight the good fight to keep that money here, whatever the scope changes, then we should ask them the question why they're not.
That's right.
That is who we should be dealing with. Yes, we answer these questions, as Councillor Ullman said, and we answer it very nicely to whoever these people are, and say, yes, we're trying to give the answer through the working group, because I haven't got a clue what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is we're going to try to answer these concerns, but damn it, it's time that our political buddies were sitting here, because when the change of scope comes, which it is coming, Mr. Mayor, you know the change of scope is coming. We all do. So let's talk to the issue. Let's talk to the right people for the issue.
Okay, then we need to have two pieces to the motion, and the second should be the response to the letter to say, here's what we are doing. We absolutely have to respond. I mean, it's our responsibility to keep those lines of communication open with the bureaucrats as well as with the politicians. So we
It
need,
could be a second motion.
it can be a second motion, then that's fine.
My concern, Mr. Mayor, and you've always talked about backbone, right? Having the backbone to make the right decision. We need to have the backbone today to represent this municipality at two senior levels of government and say, the bureaucrats are not going to wag this dog. And I'll tell you why. When a lawyer sets an arbitrary date and tells a municipality to snap to it, which is what this is, that is shameful and completely unacceptable. So that's why I've made the motion, and we need to get it on.
Please call the vote.
All those in favor? Good. Opposed? Carried.
Good. Proud of this council.
Councillor Russ.
Further to that, I'll make a motion, and hopefully Councilor Ullman will support it. We answer this letter appropriately and say, in terms of, I don't know the answer to this, so I can't make the motion correctly, but whatever the answers are to these questions, in terms of how these dates are, whatever. I didn't know we had an arbitrary September 14th about those scopes. We did not get that from Dino at that meeting. We did not get that.
It's just
What we need is to answer this and to say we're working